开始啊。Hello everyone. Today we're going to present our final project. Our title is a study on the dynamic impact of Chinese householder consumption expenditure on economic growth from 1981 to 2023, based on the ARDL model. Our group member totally got 3. There are Gao Han, Xiao Chuyu, and Ma Jun. So for our research, we totally got 5 chapters. So I will going to present chapter 1. So chapter 1 got 3 parts. First is research questions. So based on our variables and our research titles, that's our study aim to explore how householder consumption affects economic growth. So there are 3 research questions here. How does householder final consumption expenditure affect the growth rate of per capita GDP? Second is, what is the impact of challenging householder consumption on economic growth? Controlled for other economic indicators such as the growth rate of fixed assets investment, the growth rate of government's purchase and trade openings. The last one is, what government's purchasing significant in the model? What are the reasons? So for the significance of studies, householder consumption is one of the key factors driving dynamic economic growth. By analyzing the relation between householder consumption and economic growth, policymakers can be provided with a base for formulating or adjusting economic policies, especially during the period of economic instability on some places. So the literature overview is just an overview for the next part, the literature review, which is about impact of householder consumption, investment, government purchase, and trade openings on economic growth. So here is chapter 2. So here is our literature review. So you can see from the tables here. In previous research, we have found that while many scholars has explored the direct impact of factors such as investments, government purchasing power, and trade openings on economic growth, relatively little research has been conducted on the role and potential of householder consumptions. Our research therefore aim to fill in these gaps. Those comprehensive analysis and empirical research, we hope to arrive at how household consumption affect economic growth in different economic policy environments, especially from the perspective of dynamic and long-term equilibrium relationship. So here is a critical analysis of math logic. So the previous studies has usually used time series analysis or cross-sectional data analysis, but have often ignored the dynamic impact on householder consumption in different economic environments. In addition, most studies focus on macro data and pay less attention to the details of consumption behavior at the householder level. So based on the research prevalence, there are 3 gaps there. So there are empirical gap, the lack of long-term dynamic analysis of householder consumption in economic growth reflects and empirical gap, as there is a lack of sufficient empirical evidence to deeply understand and demonstrate the long-term equilibrium relationship between these variables. The theoretical gap, the lack of research on the roles of government purchase and the effects of their impact on economic growth point to the theoretical gap. Current theories failed to fully explain the special effect merchandise of government purchase on economic growth, especially their roles in different policy environment. So last one is methodological gap. The limitation of exact models in terms of variables including and the quality of the data highlight a methodological gap. There is including the needs for improved model construct math, such as the induction of more variables to enhance the extender power and the comprehensive of the models.
I will introduce the chapter 3 and chapter 4. Firstly, I will introduce the detailed economic framework based on Keynesianism aggregate demand theory. GDP is composed of four main components, which are consumption, investment, government purchases, and net export. So we focus on the key variable, that is household consumption. And next, I will introduce the model specification. And this model is based on the theoretical framework. So you can see the first model is demand model. GDP at time t is equal to consumption plus investment plus government spending and export, net export. And based on the basic model, the following econometric model was developed to further investigate. So we substitute the variable into our variable, that is the household consumption, and the fixed asset investment and trade openers. You can see the whole model. And in order to easily explain the linear relationship between variables, natural logarithms were taken on both sides of the equation. You can see that. To analyze this, the long run and short run relationship between variables, we developed the ARDL model. This is our main model. The first part is the long run model, and the second part is the short run model.
Next part is data description. In this study, economic growth is selected as the independent variable, which is measured by the per capita GDP growth rate, and the data is sourced from the National Bureau of Statistics of China. The independent variables include household consumption, investment, government purchases, and trade openings. Specifically household consumption and trade openings sourced from the World Bank. Investment and government purchases comes from the National Bureau of Statistics of China. And next part is estimation strategy. At first, the data presentation is carried out. The ADF and the PP test are used to test the stationary of the variable to determine whether the variable are significant at the level value or the first different level. Then the bond test is applied to conduct the cointegration test to analyze the long-term cointegration relationship among economic variables. After the bond test is complete, the VR mode combined with the AIC ICHQ rules is used to determine the optimal length of the ARDL model, ensuring that the model can accurately capture the short-term dynamic and prevent overfitting. Finally, the CUSUM and test and the CUSUM-SQ test are used to conduct the robustness test of the model to ensure the reliability of the model estimation results. Okay.
And in the chapter 4, I'll introduce the stationary test, the co-integration test, the estimation results of ARDL, and the heteroscedasticity test and the robustness test. First, we will perform unit test on the variables to confirm their stationarity. According to the result of ADF test and PP test in tables 1 and 2, you can see the result of the loan Y, loan investment, and loan government spending. There are 3 variables. The p-value of the 3 variables are smaller than the 0.05, and the t-statics is the absolute value of the t-statics are all greater than the critical value. So we can see the loan Y, loan investment, and loan government spending is stationary at level. And you can see in table 2, that is the unit test at first difference. You can see the loan household expenditure and the loan trade openers. The p-value of these 2 variables are smaller than 0.05. So we can see that these 2 variables are stationary at level 1. After confirming the stationarity of the variables, we need to test whether there is a co-integration relationship between the variables. So from the table 3, we can see the f-statistics value is much greater than the critical value at the confidence level of 1%, 5%, and 10%. So the NUM hypothesis is rejected, and there is a co-integration relationship between the variables. And then we can estimate the long-run relationship and the short-run result of ARDL. Variables in the ARDL model can be selected with different lag orders to capture long and short-term relationship. And there we automatically select the combination 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 as the optimal lag order combination. You can see the first result is short-run coefficients of ARDL, and it shows the short-run estimation results where GDP growth, household consumption, investment, and trade openers in the lagged period all have an impact on GDP growth in the current period. The values of R-squared, F-statistic, and the F-value of DW test in the table all indicate that this model fits well and the results are more reliable. And the table 4, it is the long-run coefficients for the ARDL model. It shows the estimation result of the long-run coefficients of the ARDL model. From the table, it can be seen that household consumption, investment, and trade openers all have a significant effect on GDP growth, while government expenditure is not significant. We mainly focus on the coefficient of the core variables, that is household expenditure. The core variables, which indicates a positive correlation between household consumption and GDP growth, That is, every 1% rise in household consumption, GDP growth increased by 2.1 to 7.118 percentage. The impact of investment and openness on GDP and on GDP growth is also positive. For every 1% increase in some, GDP growth will increase by 3.859062 percentage and 1.318953 percentage respectively. And next, we will do the LM test and the ARCH test. The LM test, the F statistical value in table is 0.850252, and the p-value is greater than 0.05. So the new hypothesis is not rejected, and the error term is free from auto correlation. And the ARCH test is used to detect the presence of heterogeneity in the model. You can see the F statistical value is 0.813963, and the p-value is also greater than the critical value. So the new hypothesis is not rejected too, and the errors in the model are homogeneous, and there is no heteroscedasticity. And you can see the robustness test. In order to test the stability of the regression coefficient, we perform the Q-sum and Q-sum squares test. And as can be seen in this figure, the blue line in the graph does not exceed the boundary line at the 5% significant level, and therefore this regression model seems to be stable.
Okay, the last part is discussion and the conclusion. And first is the key findings and policy implementation. The result of the coefficient test shows that there is a long-term equilibrium relationship among economic growth, household consumption, investment, and government purchases and trade openness. From the perspective of long-term co-integration, coefficients, the coefficients of the household consumption, investment, and trade openness are positive, which have a significant promoting effect on economic growth. However, the coefficient of government purchases is negative, but not significant, which may imply the efficiency of current government purchases in promoting economic growth need to be future improved. All its influence mechanism is more complex and requires in-depth research. The government should attach greater importance to fundamental role of household consumption in economic growth. Measures such as increasing residents' income and enhance residents' consumption confidence, release consumption potential, and then promote the long-term and stable growth of the economy. And the next part is the research limitations and future direction. In terms of data, also annual data from 1981 to 2023 are selected. It may still be affected by data statistical errors and sample limitations and cannot cover all the complex situation in the process of economic development. In model construction, only major variables are considered, and other important factors such as technological innovation and industrial structure adjustment are not included, which may lead to the insufficiency of the comprehensiveness of models' explanatory power. Future research can be carried out from the following aspects. First, further expand the data source and extend the time span, improve the data quality, enhance the reliability of the research conclusions. The second is in the model construction, include more variables and effect growth, economic growth to build more complete econometric models. And this is our presentation. Thank you.